Hi, garden friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Era, and this is Gardening on Purpose. I garden in Georgia, Zone 8A, where I do gardening related videos. It is Sunday, and it's time for a Sunday walkabout. Let's get started. All right, guys, so I have turned the camera around so you can see the backyard. This is what it's looking like. I spent all day yesterday spreading all those piles of wood chips that we brought back here on Friday and on Thursday. And this is what it's looking like, guys. Definitely more refined or defined than when you last saw the yard, right? Another thing I also did was I dug up a lot of the rocks that were sunken into the dirt a little bit too much and brought them back up to redefine the beds. This is not how it's ultimately going to look, but I definitely had to move the rocks around, right? Now you can see it here again. I just had to redefine the beds so you can see the rocks, because during my last couple of videos, and because of, years of those rocks being there, they've kind of gone into the earth a little bit slowly. So sometimes you weren't able to see the actual rocks. But I actually took the time yesterday to redefine the bed so you can see where one bed starts and where one begins. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't actually finish spreading the wood chips. I had to get on my knees and really dig some of these rocks out. And you can see they're quite dirty, right? They're quite dirty because they were deep into the dirt, right? Now, they're not going to stay like that. I'm definitely going to design them some other way, like, maybe put like some sort of a design on them and not just have them laying on the ground like that. But I definitely want to show you that. Now, here I am going further into the yard, and I remember telling you also that I was going to move this guy here, all these paving stones that my neighbor gave me, and I decided not to move them because it's just too much work, and just keep moving them and not even sure what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave them right here, and I probably will make this a little area here for planters. Don't know yet. But again, here is that front bed that I lined. I likely will put all the rocks like that, kind of overlapping over each other. Now, the wood chips stayed on the pathways. I don't have wood chips in my beds. I use leaf and mulch to mulch my beds, but the walkways were wood chips. And if I come further over and I keep going and going, you're going to see that I actually made a decision to make a curve in this bed. Right? This bed was usually just a straight line going that way, right? But I made a curve just to give it a little design. And then I put some cardboard down to help, smother out any other remaining leaves. Now, if I come further over on the east side of the house, again, you can see the beds are more defined. Now, some wood chips actually got into the beds, which I didn't like, but that was because one of the wheelbarrows kind of overturned unexpectedly and it went in here, so I'm going to clean that out. But normally it would be mulch and leaves. Here's that rose bed that I turned into all kinds of different stuff, but again, you can actually see the rocks now that you weren't able to see before. Now, I'm not done, right? So let me show you what's left to be done in the backyard. Right now, you can see going up there that I had some wood chips, but coming down this way are, wet cardboard, and that's because this still needs to be done right here. What I did was I put cardboard down and then put the wood chips on the cardboard. And then we have a space here where all my clearance plants are, right here. All this where they are, this needs to be wood chipped too. I have enough. I'm not even worried about it, but I just didn't have the energy to move all these clearance plants just to put the wood chips down, but I'm definitely going to do it later on today. So that's what the backyard is looking like after I've spread it. I would say probably 95% of the wood chips, right? And I'm so happy. Now here's the last round of wood chips before I really got tired, guys. My arm was hurting. Everything was hurting after scooping up. Now, my little helpers, and they're not little, but, my helpers from when we first got the wood chips, they tapped out, guys. They were like, you're on your own from now, so I kind of did the rest of this by myself, but I really do appreciate the guys for coming out, because they usually don't come out here in the backyard to help me. So I'm just so happy they came and helped, because if they did not help, I don't even think I would be a quarter of where I am right now in regard to how the wood chips made it their way from the pile on the side yard to come in the backyard and to be spread and to look like this. Here we are on Sunday, January 4th. All right, so speaking of the wood chip pile, the original wood chip pile that I got from the two trees being cut down, this is where we are, guys. You remember how it looked? It was a whole lot of wood chips and it was quite a mountain. And we knocked it out. This is what's left over. And actually, I didn't even use all of it. I gave my neighbor some too. He backed his truck up. That neighbor, he backed his truck up and he came in and he grabbed a whole bunch of wood chips too. And I still have a lot. So it's better to have more than I need than having to wait again for a chip drop, which I don't have to because these were from my tree. But yeah, this is what the stump is looking like. I know I showed you before, but just in case you didn't see, this is that big old oak tree that has been here, I would say, at least 50 years. And that thing was huge. They cut it down like it was nothing, guys. I was just so impressed with these guys. Now, back to the pile. Don't know. I'm probably going to give not probably, my brother-in-law is going to come over and grab some, but I have to wait on him because I don't want to start planting anything yet until everything clears out here and this wood chip is at the rate I want it, which is no more than 6 inches thick, right? But I just wanted to show you the wood chip pile from when you first saw it to today, and I'm very, very happy. Okay, so here we are on the other side of the front yard. This is where the second tree was cut down. This is the smaller tree, still an oak. And again, they cut it down to the 6-inch mark. Now, you'll notice that it doesn't have any wood chips, and that's simply because I haven't gotten around to it. I ran out of gas yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to put the wood chips down here. But even before I put the wood chips, guys, I have to put the cardboard back. And I'm already seeing little weeds already popping up, so I got to do it soon. So, but yeah, that's the only reason that hasn't gotten done yet, and that's definitely something I will be working on today again. Now, another thing I want to show you are my pansies and ornamental cabbage and kale. These guys are looking great, guys. Looking really, really great. You guys know I'm a big fan of pansies, and I buy them every October, and they have all these different colors. That ornamental cabbage looks really nice. Got it from a nursery, and some of them I got from Lowe's too. The smaller one, that one right there, I got that from Lowe's, but the bigger one, the nicer one with the white and purple color, that one I got from a nursery. Now, I also transplanted a lot of ajuga. Right there, you can see them on the opposite side of that little walkway. But yeah, guys, this is the bed right now. Here's a different angle of the front of the yard, guys. Now, you remember, I only cut 2 trees down, even though there was a couple of trees in my yard. But this front area here is where it's pretty much part shade to shade. So it does look a little bit spacey, but that's because there's a lot of hostas asleep in here. And but anything else you see here, they're going to be evergreen for me here in Georgia. And as I come up this way, you can see that it's a lot of space, guys. It's a whole lot of space for planting. I am very, very excited. And hopefully by next week, I'll be able to put my first plant in. Okay, so other than the wood chips, there's a couple other things going on in the garden that I want to show you. First up is the hellebore, or the Lenten rose, are actually blooming. Remember I showed you them budded up for over the last week, but now they're actually blooming. The blooms are actually open. Now, these guys here are a shade plant that evergreen that blooms in the winter to the spring here for me in Georgia. And this is what they look like. Got this for $19.98 at Home Depot, and this is the bloom. I don't remember the actual variety right now, and if I do remember, I'll put it on the screen. But this is what it's looking like right now. Now, you guys know a lot of hellebores, the older versions, they nod down, and these ones here, they're not completely knotted down, but they're not like upright either. So you kind of have to hold them up to see what they look like, and you can see it's all budded up. So I anticipate more blooms next week. So that's that nice pinky one. Then I do have reddy mauvey colored one here. That one is not open yet, but it definitely will open this week based on how these buds are looking. Now, every year they bring their own blooms, you can see, and then I'll just cut off these older guys here, but they definitely are an evergreen for me. Here's another one right here I think this one here is the same variety as this guy here. But let me know if you have hellebore or if you like them in your garden. Okay, so here we have the Dutch irises. A lot more of them came out of the ground. You guys know I'm a big fan of irises. Now, this is a Dutch iris, which means it's the one that you plant the bulb. This is Blue Magic, bought from Lowe's a couple of years ago. They come back very, very reliably. And they do come out the ground this time of the year, and then they bloom in the spring, right? So the reason why they're so close to this particular hydrangea is because I forgot they were there actually when I planted that white wedding hydrangea right there. So I definitely will dig them up when they're done blooming this season and kind of find somewhere else to put them because they're too close to the hydrangea's root. But yeah, they are coming out really nice and steady as the temperatures have cooled down. All right, guys, so I'm here in that back area where I'm close to the ditch, which is what I call the ditch garden. And back here, what you're looking at really is just a bunch of leaves, but there's so much more going on under those leaves. But that's simply because this is where I have my daffodils, right? Now, these guys here are starting to poke their heads out in the first week in January. Now, it's not very obvious. I have to come down a little bit, but here's a set right here. I have them clustered up. So here's the daffodils here. Now that you guys know daffodils bloom in the spring. So this is the time you're going to really start seeing them come out and then they'll actually bloom. Here's another set right there. Here's one right here. You know, so they're everywhere. And I definitely intended to add some more, but I have those in a container. You can see them right here again. I'm definitely going to move it just to show you, but cover it back because, you know, the weeds are always happy to see sunlight, and as soon as they see some sort of a sunlight, they start sprouting up. But yeah, this area here, and I want to get out of here before I really step on it too much, but this whole area here, guys, is a bunch of daffodils. Here's another one right here, right? There's another one right there. So I will definitely show you these when they come up even more and when they start blooming. All right, guys. That is pretty much it for me here today. I am very happy with the way things are looking and what I've gotten accomplished in the last week or so. But knowing me, I'm going to come back out here and try to finish the rest of it. Even though I'm tired, even though my arms hurt, my shoulder hurts, I need to do it because if I don't do it, it is not going to get done. And if I don't do it, I'm going to be in the house sitting around thinking about it. So might as well just come and do it, right? In any case, the evergreens in the meantime are holding the fort down. So my garden actually looks like a garden in January. So I have things like boxwoods and yucca, iliagnus, butterfly bush, blue star juniper, blue point juniper, nandina, false mop cypress, dragon prince cryptomeria. Not sure if I mentioned abelia yet, but I have those too. More evergreens for me are these two, which are the pancake arborvitae. Those guys are really nice and green, like a really nice green in the summer and the spring. But in the winter, they do have a little brownie twinge. There's nothing wrong with it. They look great. This is the Rose Creek abelia right here. This is also an evergreen for me. And of course, gardenia. This particular one here is the diamond spire. More evergreens in my backyard are azalea. This particular one here is the encore azalea. This one is the autumn carnation. And of course, I have other types of gardenias. I have gardenia jubilation, this guy here, jubilation. And I think I have frostproof, which for whatever reason hasn't bloomed since I bought it. This is also a gardenia. Don't know the variety. I got this from my garden friend, Judy, who I've lost touch with, and I would love to reconnect with her, but my phone broke and I lost all my contacts, and she gave me these things where she rooted herself, and they have been growing really, really nicely. Other evergreens that are doing great are the yellow anise or anise. These are looking really nice. They're nice green, and the new foliage is a little bit of a twingy yellow. Really, really nice. They are a part, for me personally, I'm calling them a part sun to a shade, because if I put these things in the sun, I believe that they will burn too much. Now here are my two mahonias that tried blooming and they gave up for whatever reason. They might not be happy here. I might have to move it. This area here is a shade area, which is where the mahonia is. And then also I know I talk about it a lot, but I definitely want to keep you updated on my Daphne, because I'm just clutching my pearls about the Daphne because, you know, I've heard that it's difficult and so far it's doing great in the garden. Let me know what you think, guys. Please like, please share, and please subscribe. Remember to hit that notification bell so you can be alerted on all my new videos. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.